It's not morning, everybody. It's now just afternoon, so it's good afternoon. My name is Haylette Scholes. I work in the Softworks division. And I don't know how many of you are familiar with the Softworks division. We're like one of the stepchildren here at EOH. But I think you all use the expense system. And I bet you all hate it. I hate it too. But actually, I think that's one of the points I want to illustrate. Softworks, we represent Infor in South Africa, and the expense system is from Infor. And in fact, the latest version have full character recognition where you could take a photo of your expense. It would automatically populate. You just need to select what type of expense it is. And it's a lot easier to submit. But like with a lot of technology tools, end users don't use it to its full capacity. So I'm not going to talk further about expense claims. I think I've signed my fate with what we have. But I am going to tell you a little bit about representing Infor, we basically sell business applications from ERP to supply chain to analytics to enterprise asset management, and we have examples in all of these. But I wanted to take a bit of an interesting example which makes you think, because there's not always just positive outcomes. Sometimes when you go in with new technology, you have to stir the world or take the world along with you, and this is what we had to do with our customer. I'm going to talk today about Sunbird Facilities Management. This was a greenfields operation that bought our software about a year ago. They had a parent company in the UK, and they wanted to go into the property development and facilities management business in South Africa and in Eastern Africa. So they went into the market to look at software that could assist them. They felt that the software is quite key to what they're doing as they measure the SLAs with customers with the software. So they bought Infor Enterprise Asset Management, and initially the implementation was really quite easy. It was greenfields, there was no data to bring across. We could just implement best of breed processes. So it took less than a month to get them up and running with their first customer. However, they actually wanted to differentiate themselves in the market. If any of you work with facilities management companies, you would know that the margins are extremely tight. It's terrible. It's dog eat dog out there. And they wanted to do something different, and they also wanted to show that they actually think further and they're innovative and not just reactive in their approach. So, to cut a long story short, this is why they decided to go with drone technology and to integrate the drone technology with Infor EAM, because there's already a solution available to do that. Now, I'm sorry, this slide is not even something that you could read, so it's just there for background. I'll talk you through it. Infor drone-enabled asset management system is actually a system that we've developed together with the Drone Authority Association in the US that does the integration between the information that's captured by the cameras on the drone and to actually integrate that to the back-end asset management system so that you could start analyzing information and make decisions based on the information. The typical benefits from it would be, think about, we spoke about a power plant. Think about when you start having to do overhauls there and you have to build scaffolding maybe to inspect a boiler to see where do you need to maintain. You have to get safety permits. It takes a couple of days to set up the scaffolding before you could start inspecting. Did I say you have to get safety permits? Yes. So it's a lot easier to just fly, do an inspection. You get the information immediately. They expect The standard time saving, about 80%. Cost saving, it's debatable, because even though initially we expected a huge cost saving because of the time saving, we realized that maintaining the drone, buying the drone, investing in it, getting the pilot's license for the drone, and being able to get a permit every time you have to use it, because currently legislation is a bit backwards in terms of drones, so you have to get a permit when you use it. But there's a time saving, there's a cost saving, there's a huge safety benefit associated with it, because there's not humans on the dangerous field out there, so there is that saving as well. So you could do one or two things when you do safety inspections with drones. The one is get the operational efficiency to do time-based inspections. I'm actually monitoring what something looked like a year ago, 6 months ago now, and I could predict when should I actually start fixing this piece of equipment. So that is when you do time-based inspections, but also operational efficiency when you do reactive maintenance. I've got a couple of photos to show what they've done. One of their customers are Shoprite. I think this is their first customers, and they were up and running with Shoprite within a month. This was their warehouse facility in Silverton, and a part of the building started to caught fire. They weren't even able to do a physical inspection at this point in time because it was still too hot inside, and they flew over it with a drone. Later apparently they went in as well, and they realized that it was baby nappies that caused the fire, and the intense heat was also caused by baby nappies. And this information was so valuable to the customer that they asked them to give it to the insurer as evidence of what happened. This other example is also a shop that they started to take over in their portfolio. Now, you need to understand a little bit about facilities management. If you start taking over this portfolio from a customer, when you work out your service level agreements and your costing, you need to know exactly in what state the assets are. Otherwise, some of that cost must be for your own account. So they flew over this shop, and they said to the customer, we're not prepared to take this facility on unless you fix the roof, because that part of the roof they saw was really in a bad state. So after it was fixed, they said, right, that's fine. We're willing to take on this specific building as well. In this specific instance, you'll notice the palisades around the HVAC plant. It's very difficult to go and do a physical inspection of the air conditioner there. And I don't know if people steal those plants, because it is in Mamelodi. I mean, why else would you put palisades on the roof of air conditioner outlets? But maybe it's just me. But they actually use the tool to do just a physical first line visual inspection before they decide if it's necessary to do anything further. In fact, this is a very good example of doing a visual inspection. Can you guys spot anything wrong there? Yes, with this one little hole open there. Now, typically when you inspect a plant like this, you won't go up and check if everything at the top is fine. So that was just one other benefit that they got from it. So I just showed you what you do on the drone side of things, but now you could actually use these visual image when you are integrating it back to the asset management system, either for preventative maintenance or as evidence for corrective maintenance, or to use as condition-based monitoring evidence when you need to decide when you have to fix something because it's deteriorated enough. So I hope that was an interesting example. As I said, in terms of legislation in South Africa, David, you showed a beautiful picture of the V&A waterfront. We're not allowed to fly there at all because it's a national key point, yes. So it takes time. When we spoke to Sunbird, we did a roadshow with them on this. They said sometimes it's more costly for them to get their permits to start flying into certain retail areas than it would have been to just do the physical inspections. But I think, like any new trend and new technology, this is the way to go. You first have to sort out the barriers before you really get many of the benefits. Thank you.